Hello, welcome to the Weekend Update. Up next, we have The Internet is Outraged by Kylie Jenner's 9-second face wash routine video. Looks like she's facing the same problem as most of the guys I went to high school with. Hashtag mo money, mo problems.
Also coming up, man asked CNN, have you ever wondered why we wear clothes and cats and dogs don't?
And lastly, on the SNL Weekend Update, Beyonce gives major side-eye to Warriors owner's wife, Nicole Curran. No one disrespects Queen Bee.
Today, we'll be talking about how recently, in 2018, Trump has signed and approved the federal H.R. 6 Support for Patients and Communities Act. Among the many important provisions, this legislation will help curb the devastating opioid crisis, while also ensuring that the millions of patients, families, and communities impacted by addiction have the care, support, and resources that they need and deserve. Unfortunately, Trump has not figured out how to get the correct resources to get a reasonable colored tan or haircut, but we can always hope. Trump made an announcement about the new bill, and it went exactly how you're imagining it right now.
Together today to address America's drug and opioid crisis, and a crisis it is, which now claims 70,000 lives a year. 1 year ago, I addressed the nation in this very room and declared the opioid crisis a national public health emergency. Today, we are here to update the American people on the historic action we have taken and to sign landmark legislation to defeat the opioid epidemic. Together, we are going to end the scourge of drug addiction in America. We are going to end it, or we are going to at least make an extremely big dent in this terrible, terrible problem.
We're gonna fix it, or we're gonna die trying if we don't get bombed first.
The act follows the passage of the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act and the 21st Century Cures Act last Congress. The CDC estimates the economic burden of opioid misuse alone in the U.S. is $78.5 billion per year, including the cost of health care, lost productivity, addiction treatment, and criminal justice involvement. Trump apparently called the opioid crisis a health emergency, but requested no funds for it in 2017, which sounds like a very Trump thing to do. He wanted to block shipments from China of fentanyl to help combat the crisis. If he blames China for one more thing, he's going to need a timeout. It might be a good way to take away his phone. But don't worry, he tweeted hashtag opioid crisis, so we're all in the clear.
Go.
Now, we're gonna learn about how this affects other healthcare professionals. Today, we brought in an OT because that's the best profession.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So an OT is going to work on addressing the pain management and prevention to reduce the number of opioids in the emergency rooms, and also work with patients who need pain management services. We're going to educate other healthcare professionals about non-pharmaceutical treatments with our evidence-based research. And lastly, educate people with chronic and acute pain and changing the environment and activities that may trigger pain.
Wow, that was some interesting facts. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a personal opinion?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so what would you do OT-wise for someone like, say, Donald Trump?
Oh gosh, I think that might be a lost cause.
The Support for Patients and Communities Act timeline starts with April 14th, 2018. The Senate introduces the Opioid Crisis Response Act, a bill with multiple proposals to improve the federal response to the epidemic. June 13th, 2018, the House introduces the Support for Patients and Communities Act. June 22nd, 2018, the House advances the act. And then September 17th, 2018, the Senate approves. 11 days after that, the House passed it. And the big day, October 24th, it's National Kangaroo Day. And the president signs the opioid bill into law.
Medicaid provisions include minors' coverage until the age of 26, or if they're incarcerated, the coverage continues. The CMS also issues neonatal abstinence syndrome treatment options for pregnant women. And state beneficiary programs identify at-risk individuals by setting limits on prescribers and discerners that they can utilize.
Medicare provisions include coverage for opioid treatment programs for purpose of delivering medicated assisted treatment By 2021, prescription drug plan sponsors under Medicare would be required to develop drug management programs for at-risk beneficiaries. Also, it requires e-prescribing with exceptions for coverage of prescription drugs that are controlled substances. The use of non-opioids for post-surgical pain would be encouraged through providing.
Other provisions include the FDA, which is required to hold at least one public meeting to address the problem of developing non-addictive medical products. The CDC would also be required to increase and accelerate data collection on synthetic opioids and new emerging drugs of abuse. Healthcare providers are able to be certified in using buprenorphine to treat up to 100 patients with substance abuse disorders.
Thank you for watching SNL's Weekend Update instead of Fox News, which is what Trump watches to feel good about himself.
And remember, without stupidity, there wouldn't be intelligence. And without ugliness, there wouldn't be beauty. So maybe we need Trump after all. Have a great night, you guys.
No one respect. No one. This is why I wasn't in theater when I saw.
This legislation will help curb the
Epidemic. June on 2018. The timeline for the support to the opioid reduces the opioid response to the opioid epidemic.
Include. Oh wait, that's wrong. I lost my place. Neonatal abstinence. Oh, dang.
And remember, without stupidity, there wouldn't be an